Thank you very much, Zoe, and everybody else at the desk. Here we go. One last series to round out the evening. London Spitfire versus the LA Gladiators. They're worried about, hoping for an exciting series. But if there's one thing that you and I bring, Avril, it's the occasional pauses, but also the Giga Bangers. So I think we're in. The match is in good hands. We got it from here, guys. Don't worry. I think this one's going to be pretty damn good. But I do also happen to agree. I don't think the Spitfire were particularly tested yesterday, but they certainly will have a test on their hands here going up against the Gladiators.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough one. Well, maybe. Who knows? I think London have a lot to show. I think they had a great match versus Philly. Philly didn't seem like they were all together on the same page there. Glads will be a much bigger challenge. And we're at the stage now of the tournament where I got to announce this one. There are no more perfect brackets remaining. 0. Everyone's been boomed. Everyone's officially been boomed. Brackets. 8 matches. And I will say one thing, though. Shout out to the last remaining person who had this going. They had 18 points, which means they had 6 out of our previous 7 matches perfectly predicted. So the last one got them. The Shock Houston one got them. The final one got them. But they had all other 6 matches perfect up until that stage.
It threw them for a loop, and I mean, honestly, I'm not even sure if the Outlaws really expected it, but it was a damn good win from them to be able to take down the Shock. And yeah, things are crazy. This has been, I think, one of the best playoffs that we've had maybe ever. I think it's right up there with 2019 with me so far. We have to see, obviously, the rest of this and how it's going to continue to develop. But right now, I think it's making good pace. So I'm hoping that this series continues in those footsteps and we can have yet another incredible series. Because, I mean, you compare to yesterday, Avril, we finished like about 40 minutes ago yesterday. Now we're getting into the final series. So it's a considerably more competitive day of matches here, and we're just hoping that we can continue to round things out with another crazy Map 5 series.
I mean, we've had a ton of upsets so far today and yesterday combined. I think it's just been fantastic games, high-quality games. And aside from yesterday's 3-0s, like you sort of mentioned, we're starting to get some real longer series now. And I'm really hoping this one can deliver more as well. I'd like to see this one go at least 4. London Spitfire, obviously the underdog here. LA Gladiators come in looking super strong. They had a fantastic Countdown Cup. I know a lot of people still kind of, have a bit of a sour taste from the Summer Showdown, considering the LA Gladiators, but moving far and far away from the Junker Queen meta, Rhino's back in. It's a Winston meta. Like, I don't think you could have rolled a better meta for the LA Gladiators in the current one that we do have, because you get to play the Winston, you get to play pretty much everyone's best picks. I expect Shu to be one of the best Korikos out there. Funny Astro gets to play Lucio. I don't even know if you could call this a downside, but Kevster has to play Reaper. But even then, if that's the only thing, you're like, oh, that's not a bad thing at all. I'm sure Kevster can still carry on the Reaper. You'd love to see him on the Tracer instead, but he'll be fine.
Well, let's go ahead and bring out our first team. Welcome them onto the stage. Everybody in chat, it is the London Spitfire. See whether or not they can take down the LA Gladiators. We saw from the desk, the only person, the sole person who is predicting for them is Necra. And part of me wonders how much of that is solidarity because she casts alongside Jaws. She's like, well, my co-caster's a Brit, so I guess I got to go for the British squad. But
Danny, what happened to Danny? He's lost faith. He was going for the Spitfire. Now he's moved away. He's shifted over towards Glads. One player that I was very impressed with yesterday, watching over the London games, was actually Backbone. I felt like his Reaper had incredible value. He was able to get in very interesting positions, very similar to what we saw from Striker today, right? Just his ability to get value on the Death Blossoms, his understanding of, maneuverability on the map to get into positions to find those kills as well. Spark had a great game. Hardy, I think people don't give him enough credit sometimes. He's actually got a fantastic Winston. People think of him mostly as a Ryan player, but we've seen now multiple times when you look at his actual pick rates, he's picked plenty of other heroes over the course of this year. And then the Admiral Landon combo was, I felt like, a step above what we saw from Fixer Aim God yesterday, especially Landon, stats-wise. I don't know about now because I haven't had an update on this, but stats-wise, Landon to me had pretty much the best Koriko yesterday in terms of what I consider to be good, and that's mostly ult charge time, amount of healing as well as keeping his team up, and some reasonable damage. Wasn't the highest damage, that was Teru, but I don't necessarily rate damage the #1 thing I look for at a Koriko.
Well, you already mentioned Shu, and we'll see if Landon's going to be up the task to try to keep up with Shu, because we know what he can do as well when it comes down to just impeccable, incredible support plays. But we'll go ahead and take a closer look at him and the rest of the squad as the Gladiators make their way out and take their seats and get ready to close out the evening with one last matchup.
team that has won the most so far this year. They might have missed out on one tournament. The other two that they did go to, flawless back-to-back wins, kickoff clash, mid-season madness. Of course, we were there to see it all. Expected lineup coming on through. Shu is in. I think there might have been like a small chance like could Skewed be the good Kiriko player on the team. Possible, but Skewed, he is an MVP nominee. He is, in my mind, still the best support player in the league. And I think a lot to show here in terms of leading the way in Kiriko. I mean, this is a hero that should be within his wheelhouse. He should have a mastery over. We've seen some damn good Kiriko so far, and I'm very excited to see what Shu brings to the table there. But across the board, I mean, you could basically say for everybody here, they almost have a best in slot for every single position. I just think this is such a great meta for the LA Gladiators. This is a team I expect to go a long way this playoffs.
See what happens. Also, always great to see Funny Astro stepping up to the stage here. I mean, we're in a Lucio
He's got
meta,
the alarm pin. I don't know if you caught that, but he had the alarm pin as well, so a big shout out there as he's representing Alarm and will be unveiling the Alarm Rookie of the Year award during the playoffs as well.
Let's see, you're doing proud here in this matchup by taking the win themselves right up there in the winner's bracket, where this one I do believe is going to have to square off against the Outlaws, who, given their current form, is definitely not a pushover of a squad, so you need to be prepared for that just as much as you're prepared for this series right here. But we'll focus in now as Lijiang Tower will be our first battleground as we get ready to kick this set off. We'll see who's going to be able to take that one. And there, who's going to be able to keep their heads above the water. So Glad's elected to go to Lijiang Tower. Let's see if that's good enough for them to be able to get the dub over the London Spitfire.
I'll be interested to see as well if teams decide to do anything different here in terms of the fact that Lijiang Tower has in the past been pretty friendly for Ryan. Of course, when we think about Ryan, you do think about Hardy, but also consider that Ryan has played some of that this year as well. It's probably most likely just going to be raw Winston mirrors across the board. Not really going to see too much different here, but I think Control Center could be a potential for a different look there, maybe even an Orisa. So we'll see what the teams are going to lock in here. The history of the Gladiators versus the London Spitfire has been fairly dominant towards the LA Gladiators. Last meeting was a 3-0, and they've only actually met twice so far this year, so they actually never played each other in a tournament. They've only played each other twice in the regular season, a 3-0 and then a 3-1, the 3-1 happening a little bit earlier on. And London haven't actually beaten the Gladiators as a franchise since Season 2, 2019, Week 3. So it's been several years now for London.
All right, well, out the gate, Reinert's going to be starting things on the Doomfist. So flipping the script, not bringing out the Winston as anticipated.
Yeah, I was saying, can we see something different? Maybe an Orisa or a Ryan. Ryan is like, how about a Doom? A Doom could be good and Happy will open up a kill.
All right, so the Slam not going to get too much. Gets a nice charge punch. Won't send anybody off the side of the map, but with the opening pick, things already looking pretty decent here for the Glads. Now going to be locked into the corner. Reiner putting the fists up, mitigating some damage. Rejoins with the rest of the squad over here on the point where the Glads do have the initial lockdown, and there's going to be a pause.
Seth, what did you do? What did you do, Seth?
I don't know. Like I said, there's a cost for everything here, Avril. You want to have a gigabanger of a series, you got to have a pause. You got to pay the iron price.
Well, actually, it gives me a bit of time to maybe look at this Doom pick and try and understand it a little bit more. I did hear some murmurings behind the scenes of Doom being potentially tested by certain teams, and of course, when you think about that, you're thinking of teams like potentially Houston, Atlanta, obviously Glads, the teams that have played the most Doom over the course of the year. I still have a lot of reservations about Doom, given the fact that he is still in a pretty weak place, whether that's on ranked or in scrims. I've also heard reports that Doom generally, even if you are trying, hasn't produced any results. But we are going to go back into game now, unpause fairly quick,
there we are.
And Happy produces another kill.
It's another one. Landon going to be taken down. Shu will find Hottie at the end. And that's just going to be the cleanup coming through from the rest of the Glads. Kills shared across the board. And still holding firmly here on the point. 20% about to be locked in for them as the Spitfire wait to respawn.
Yeah, so far this has just been building space, allowing time for Happy to get these picks. And off the back of Happy getting those kills, the London Spitfire haven't really been able to engage too much. Ryan has played a fairly passive game so far, not really hard engage or anything, just kind of, again, making space. Well, how about that? TP? Oh, just barely.
It gets it in the end. From staying safe, avoids the punch, puts some damage down here on the Reiner, but Kevster gets into the back, finds Landon. Gets that assassination. Gladiators, again, just winning the fight off that one pick. Happy will get Sparker for some added little stagger. And Gladiators don't have to invest anything. They nearly have 5 ults ready to go.
And we're past 50%. Half of the cap has now gone in favor of the LA Gladiators. Happy's about to find this overclock. This comp, by the way, because it's a little bit more dive heavy, also allows Kevster to play towards the strength of the Tracer, so doesn't even have to start out on the Reaper. That's super strong for the Gladiators. Reiner barely immediately strikes out. 1 HP.
Manages to get himself out of there. Pulse bomb from Kevster, not going to find a 6, doesn't find an elimination. Sparker manages to keep himself safe in that regard. He's going to be taken down, though, as the overclock claims 1. They look for a little bit more here on the back end. Jump up over the top, tries to get that final tag in onto Admiral. Can't make it happen. Kevster pursues quite deep. Trying to get that kill. He will be able to keep this life intact in the end. Gladiators, they dumped everything there, but now they find themselves at 90%.
Well, because they dump everything, though, they don't have a lot to defend here with, so Happy needs to find another kill really quickly, or maybe Kevster. Party, by the way, dies just as 100% for the primal pop that last fight. 4 ultimates.
Yeah, there's a touch.
Sound barrier burn.
Yep, sound barrier burned. Hottie left over the action, got himself to the point. Desert Slam in from Reiner. The flip is going to be there. Running Spitfire now in control, but for how long? We'll have to just wait and see. The Primal, couple seconds remaining on this one as Hottie tries to juggle somebody off the side of the map. Happy shot out of midair. Sparker gets that kill, and Shu is just going to get zapped down. So it seems like London will manage to go ahead, lock this down, and hold it for an extended period of time.
And by the way, those 4 deaths that you just saw, Happy, Reiner, Shu, Funny Asher dying, those are all the first deaths for those players so far in this round. No one else has died yet before that. Kevster's still on 0 deaths, so that's how much Gladiators were dominating up until that fight. I think we expected Spitfire to get one over just because of the ultimate difference, right? We talked about the fact that Gladiators spit big on their previous attack, or rather defense of the point. And Spitfire trying to rebuild a little bit here as well. They still hold on to a death blossom. Landon looking towards the rush as well. Could be a good fight for Spitfire here.
Another attempt here with the pulse bomb. Let's see if we can find anything. It's going to be the death blossom out from backbone, however, to zone them away, and Happy previously dead. Reiner drops down. Here's Strike, falls low. He's got the fists raised again, trying to stay alive. It's a punch and cross, sends somebody flying, but backbone is able to claim him in the end. Now Funny Astro going to fall as well. Spitfire managed to save them all once again. He keeps himself in this game, and they're looking for a little bit of extra here as Shu. Barely gets the TP back up and manages to make his way out to safety.
That's very workable because Reiner's already come back. He's back on a Winston, by the way. Gibson out on the Reaper. Hardy's only just respawned. Look how safe London to play. They're actually back on the bridge. They're going to be losing point here if they're not too careful.
Backbone for now is going to be the one that tries to keep this one contested. Funny Astro throws down the beat. Shu uses the rush. Overclock at the ready. Happy. Tag on a 1. Everybody comes back on the opposite side of the point. They keep themselves safe for now. Breaking line of sight, but Kevster and Reiner pursue forward. They will find 3 kills for themselves. Sparker swings right into it. The headshot perfectly timed. Happy gets him. It's 192% to kick off Lijiang Tower as Gladiators take gardens.
7 final blows here for Happy, and so many first bloods as well. In the first opening, I think 3 fights, Happy had multiple kills the entire way through. Kevster showing some Tracer, and I think Johnny talked about this. The fact that, if you could put Kevster on a Tracer, that's truly where he does carry on, and we, have to see what happens on the Reaper. And it only nerfs Kevster slightly, but barely a downside for the LA Gladiators because they can instantly go back towards a Winston composition and make it work, and that's exactly what happens here. And as we move over towards Control Center, this is the round that I was very curious about because I think this is the one that has the highest chance of seeing some different comps. And there's actually not going to be the Bastion that we saw from Atlanta. Kevster coming through on a Junkrat, Reiner on the Reinhardt. Hardy would probably love this duel if he knew that this was going to happen earlier, but he has to play the Winston to the Rein now.
I think Kevster's just playing this because he's trying to put something in Jake's brain in case they win the series and have to play versus the Outlaws later. He's trying to bait him into it, make him think like, yeah, this is really good. We'll see if it works though. Takes a nasty shot, gets back around the corner. Sees the jump there up into the air. Hotting's gonna get clipped by the mine. Kevster has to play back, grabs the mini pack, keeps himself safe for now. Reiner out in the open. Immortality field comes down from Shu. They keep him protected for now, but it is going to be the London Spitfire posturing forward here onto the point. Reiner gets there just a second too late to be able to keep that one contested. Sparker now going aggressive, gets himself into the back line, gets Shu down to basically no HP, but he just can't quite confirm the kill. That being said, they are routing the Gladiators now. Shu finally does fall, and given that Gladiators are playing on the opposite side of the map right now, I don't think they're going to be able to find their way in onto the point.
I mean, it's a good amount of damage from Kevster. Look how close he is to the Riptide already. But for Reiner, struggling to stay on the actual point. I mean, look how quickly Spitfire actually got that cap over. Gladiator set to vacate there to exit. Landon now has the ultimate. Spitfire should pull trigger. They're going to do it.
Going for it. The rush is in. Immortality Field's cleared up by Backbone. Kevs are going to be taken down. And as Martin, not going to find much of anything. The trap will clip here onto Landon, but he's not going to be too bothered by it. The fight is won. Kevster, even though he's coming
Sure.
Okay, it looks like he's going to stick with this one. And yeah,
I think that window's far away.
I think he's just trying to get them back into the building.
Wow, it's an expensive way to force Spitfire back, and I don't think Spitfire mind at all. They still hold on to more ultimates about to come online again. Kevster has a tie, but how do you even use this, by the way? Can Landon stop this? Is there going to be a Suzu?
He's going for Hottie, but okay, he will be able to get the elimination. I thought maybe that was going to get cleaned up. Sparkbeard not quite able to get the destruction on the tire. The Flippy is going to be there just off the back of the singular pick. Kevster now very much stuck on this Junkrat for an extended period of time.
I mean, he opted into it. He knew this was the matchup they were going into. Sound barrier available. Happy looking towards the overclock. Reiner, this will be his first Earth Shatter so far on Control Center. And if he doesn't hit Landon, Landon can Suzu his team and get them back up. So can be a difficult place to get the Shatter to work. Needs to hit Landon if possible. And that's if it doesn't get blocked by Hardy.
Oh, push up there, the knockup. Backbone serves up on a silver platter, but Happy not quite able to find the kill. Now the beat going to be dropped in by Admiral. The Astro leading the charge in that regard. Dive into the back. See Hottie looking to try to get on top of Happy. Primal comes out. Death Blossom thrown in by Backbone, managing to find one. Hottie cleaves down two. Reflip is in for the London Spitfire. Now in control, still maintaining the lead. 70% locked in.
And this is kind of disappointing section for Gladiator as well, because like if you are wanting to change comps, you would love to have used ultimates and change now. But the thing is, well, Kipster is kind of locked in because he was on like 78, 79. You die on that much ult charge, you don't want to just give up the Riptide. Rhino was on like high 90s, now reaching the Earth Shatter. You're not swapping off that. So how is this going to get applied now again? Landon's the key target here.
Pushing forward, going aggressive. Immortality Field keeps him alive. Shadow does connect on to Sparker, but Admiral gets himself right up in front of Reiner's face, pushes the corner, and somehow stays alive. Riptire now going to be used. Kevster looking for a target, looking for a pick, but it's not going to find anything in the meantime. No one is able to touch the point.
The tire can't touch.
No.
The tire cannot touch.
Yeah, that does not contest as it turns out. Hottie will drop the scene out there in the chat, and the London Spitfire
Happy says really.
Map up.
Didn't know.
Well, Night Market.
I gotta say though, look,
as Jack said, here we go. It'll decide it.
Honestly, for Gladiators, they took a risk there. They took a pretty big risk to try something different there. They wanted to pull through a different type of composition. And in some ways, because they are 1-0 up, might be worthwhile trying it. It was just too hard to hold ground, too hard to swing the hammer, too hard to find damage. As Kevster was the only one significantly finding any sort of damage. Happy was not even hitting that many rails compared to what we saw in Garden. So a very difficult matchup, and again, I think the BAP provides a lot less value than the Kariko does in the meta, just how much more value that Kitsuna Rush does compared to the Ant Matrix, which is not a great ultimate. So we're just going to head back into the safety of Winston in this mirror, as Gladiators for the first time actually locking in at the start.
Down. Right now, London Spitfire just tucking back around the corners here on the point. Nate comes in, looking to try to find the kill here, but it's going to be Shu who ends up getting taken down by Sparker. Nice headshot with a rail from him. Reiner tagged up, dead. Backbone does get traded, but far too many casualties here on the side of the Gladiators, losing two. Spitfire once more locking down the point first and foremost, as Happy's just got nowhere to go.
And interestingly enough, Kevster and Happy swap right. Kevster's now the one actually playing Sojin. Happy on the Reaper, that's another change we have to talk about. Typically, you'd probably think that Happy would be the dedicated Sojin player. It's interesting why Gladiators have done this. Happy performed quite well in Gardens, but this is the bed that they have to sleep in now that they've made. Because they have started to get some ult charge here. Bit of rotation from Gladiators indoors. Spitfire on the money though, trying to lock them in.
Backbone looking to run down Reiner. Trying to keep him sustained, but with Money Astro dead, Reiner can do nothing more but just exit and hope for the best. Full alley-oop play. Damage set up by Happy. Kevster gets the rail shot to take down Backbone, but it's still just not enough for them to get themselves over to the point. But Spitfire just cut back around the side.
Landon.
Keep it occupied.
There's only 3 members here. Might be some more teammates around the corner, but the Kitsuna Rush will come through both sides. Kevster nearly on their overclock.
Forward to do it. Get juiced up spots. Backbone here. in the back lines. Disrupt the shot, not going to find too much of anything. Backbone makes his exit, receives that sound barrier shielding here from Admiral. In the meantime,
Astro needs one.
Gladiators now in
9%
control.
away.
Astro, he's so very close. The damage right now is not coming through, so he'll be able to build this one up. They're barring a random headshot coming through from the side of Sparker. I think they're going to remain safe.
Oh, it's dead.
Funny Astro, he gets taken down. Never mind. But the Death Blossom comes in from Happy. Manages to find two. Huddy and Landon both going to be eliminated. Happy, Wraith walks away. A little bit of distance before he goes back in on the offensive. Just coupling with Reiner here with the Primal. They find the kills. They maintain control. 30% to 53. Gladiators ticking up.
And I really expected London to do more of their sound barrier there, right? Admiral pops it down. They're sort of on the sides, on the coast side of their point. And they were struggling to actually get on and engage a fight. They had a lot of extra green HP to work with. The Funny Astro could not respond. He was still 10% away. And Spitfire couldn't find the damage to really put the pressure on the Gladiators. Now the sound barrier will come on through.
It does, but can they get on top of anybody here? Hotty's primaled up. He's looking for a target, trying to get an isolation there on a Happy, and he'll just go ahead and knock him down. Cleaves him out, TP over to the side. Chu rejoins in with Kevster by the point. Reiner doing much the same.
Chu needs ultimate. Almost there. Oh, they lose Kevster.
He's got it ready now, but yeah, with Kevster gone, you just hold on to it. I think it might be the play. Reiner's well
But they're still committed. There's still more than that.
It does still come through. London ticking up to try to match. They're now just 9% away from making it happen. The Death Blossom going to be thrown in. Backbone looking for a target. Everybody from the Gladiators scattering off the point. Push in the corner though. Backbone finds Happy. Gets him with a headshot off the shotgun. Finds the kill. Now Funny Astro in a dire spot. Ends up getting pinched as well. He didn't send Hottie off the side of the map. But down two players. This seems so very unlikely that they'll be able to do anything with this, especially now that Reiner is dead.
Late death.
Fire. They maintain control and now they're 80% ready to win.
It'll be 99 soon because Reiner's still got to respawn, and that was just so indecisive from Gladiators. What's the game plan there? Cool, you've lost one, you still have 4, but are you trying to hold on to the point or are you trying to not? They use the Kachuna rush, but they don't keep the point.
Rush and Beat both come out. Funny Astro desperately trying to get in the tag the point. He does manage to do so. Shu, I believe, joining in with him. Reiner also arrives. Funny Astro finds a kill. Sparker going to be sent off the side of the map or killed off by the boom. Either way, it's value. Desperately needed here for the Glads. Another hit found. They get the flip. 71% now in control. They have a shot at winning this one out, but they need to play this perfectly. On the Spitfire. Likely need to reset.
Turning
the fight right here, and they're going to go for the ladder. Hottie goes for the juggle. He's got the primal pop. Knocks Funny Astro up into the air, but the beat comes through all the same. Death Blossom comes out from Happy. He won't be able to find any kills. 85% now on board for them. Happy dead. Spark gets a headshot with the overclock. Slides back over onto the point as they look for the flip, but he gets crunched. And Kevster finds the kill. Gladiator still looking good as Happy swaps over to the Freezer, trying to rejoin in a little bit faster. Now Landon taken down. Reiner will be traded, but it's just far too many casualties here for the London Spitfire. They did their damnedest. They made it look good. They made it competitive. But it is the Gladiators who are taking Lijiang Tower at the end of it all. 199% to close out Night Market. They win it 2-1.
Yeah, London Spitfire, they played well there, but the last fight was very extended, a super long fight outside of the Spitfire spawn. And London Spitfire, they're saying, we're actually in a position to maybe turn this fight around. Hardy pops Primal, they want to engage, but Hardy couldn't find the kills, he couldn't find any knockoffs off the map, no environmentals. Gladiators hold on, they eventually use double support ultimates. Shu pops down the Kachuna rush. London Spitfire do originally a fairly decent job of just engaging away from it, right? They move towards the point, the Kachuna rush is in the open, in the courtyard. But when we actually get to the point, even though they're away from the Kachuna rush of Shu, the firepower isn't there. Kevster pops online, gets 2 frags, and the LA Gladiators clean up with a win.
I'll tell you what, one map, granted it is control and often lends itself to have some scrappier fights, but that was scrappy. That was all over the place between both of these squads, just constantly going blow for blow, back and forth. Gladiators are barely left standing at the end of it all, but that is just map number 1 out of a potential 5. That's what we are hoping for. London Spitfire are going to have their map pick as we get ready to move into hybrid. We'll see where they decide to take us when we come back from the break and whether or not the Gladiators will be able to shut them down and look for that 2-0 lead. Don't go anywhere, guys. The action continues in our final series of the evening when we come back. welcome back. Are you a fan of the Gladiators? Then buy their skin. It's on sale till November 15th. I haven't been putting too much thought into these things. But yeah, it's the Reaper guy. He's my favorite character. I love his pistols and all of that stuff. But honestly, I mean, I do love I love that we have these kind of like alternate skins coming in for the tournament winners this year, and I hope that it's something that we keep up forward into next season.
There's like a normal Gladiators Reaper skin, just like the normal Reaper skin, but colored Gladiators. But then there's this one, which is the legendary Reaper Gladiator skin. And they all love
legendary in your gameplay.
What's the mid-season madness skin again? That was the Mercy one, wasn't it? So there's also yeah, it was, because Happy Genji was after that. So Knight Mercy, Royal Knight Mercy. There'll be another purple version of that later on. But for now, I think for the Gladiators, they're not satisfied with just 2 skins. They want the championship skin too, if they can get that. Who knows what that'll be. London have one, the Winston one from 2018. And despite this 1-0 result, I mean, I think we can both say that it was fairly competitive, although the only asterisk I will add to that comment is the fact that Gladiators, yeah, they did pull out some quote-unquote cheese on Control Center. Did not work out for them. The Ryan, Junkrat stuff, okay. Kevster got some kills, but it didn't seem like a comp that was really doing much else. The Shadow went quite wanting, to be honest with you. Ryan kind of just threw it out there. Didn't look great. And Gladiators even kind of swapped up the DPS of Kevster and Happy, just trading roles on our 3rd round of Night Market. Still seemed to work out. Kevster pulling through on the Sojin as we head into Eichenwalde, which is London's pick. See how this one works out for the Gladiators in terms of what they'll choose, because they seem to be the team that are wanting to play some different stuff, try some different things out. Spitfire are very content with just playing hard meta.
Which is odd, because they were, you know, back towards, you know, maybe towards the beginning of the season even, the team that was kind of diverging from it, that was, you know, kind of forcing the rush composition, showing us the May very occasionally, and also I think that maybe the first team that also showed us the Bastion originally forever ago. We have seen a little bit more of it as of late. We thought that we were going to get some Bastion there from the Gladiators, but it was the Junk instead. But here we are. Eichenwalde for our 2nd map. This is the Spitfire's pick. The staging ground where they think that they can go ahead and tie things up 1-1.
I'm sure we saw London here not that long ago as well. We look over towards the... Yeah, we did. They played this versus the Philadelphia Fusion. 3-2 result there. 2-0 versus Fusion on Lijiang. Basically, they're rerunning the same maps they played versus Fusion. We'll see if Route 66 is up next, depending on who gets the choice for that one. I'm not expecting... Okay, I don't know if I should say I'm not expecting the Shu, Anna, plus the others here. Kevster's just going for an early kind of, you know, peek out. Happy checking with the Sonic. Shu going for a sleep dart already. They're going to be playing hard meta. Sojin again, so they're actually going to lock in Kevster twice with Sojin, and Happy remaining on the Reaper.
Everybody just got some lineups, got some stuff that they want to check for. That Widow with a Hanzo. Dive in, comes through from Hottie. Goes aggressive, jumping into the PC room. Reiner, bubbled down, low HP, has to play this safely, so makes his exit, but Kevster actually gets the punish. Hottie taken out, and that's a big opening now for the Gladiators to get themselves here onto point A.
Spitfire need to leave, give away 2 ticks, play Hottie to respawn, they can still recontest. If anyone else dies here from London, it will be over, so they cannot afford to even try and go for a trade here. They'll play as safe as possible. Wait a minute, Hottie. Okay, they're barely back in. Backbone had to shift into touch.
Yep, shifts into touch, Hottie comes up over the top. Drops in, Happy now going to be zoned back, but Kevster again finds a kill, this time on a Sparker. Takes him out, and that's going to be just as critical as he will find a second. The cleanup comes through. Glenn's last one standing, but with nowhere to TP to. He ends up falling. It's 5 minutes and 22 seconds in the time bank as Glads get the team kill and the cap.
And that's like not quite 2 fights, but 1 fight where Hottie dies twice, if you think about the fact that he had to die, respawn, come back. I mean, the fact that Backbone has to use a Wraithform just to get the touch in is going to put the Spitfire behind, and that'll be further behind. At least as far as ult charge is concerned, definitely on the overclock side of things. Some of the other members are at least somewhat competitive. Admiral's still lacking about 26% here. We'll see if Gladiators want to use these support ultimates early. Probably be forced to, given that Spitfire playing pretty aggressively on the payload.
Kempster going for the quick pop, hoping that he gets a connection there. Not going to happen, but does now have that overclock at the ready. Rush comes in from Shu, escorting them forward as they look for some shots here. A hell of a lot of damage being pumped out over towards the Spitfire members. They're going to go ahead and counter rush back over towards the cart now. Gladiators widely split. Kempster out into the open. Going to get jumped on. They need to keep protected. Reiner comes in to try to peel for him, but it's not going to be good enough. Backbone drops in. Death Blossom finds two. Both the supports now gone. And the Gladiators are going to have to go ahead and reset on the push.
Man, that ult trade was so much better for the London Spitfire. I mean, what you actually see there is Shu pulling out the Katsuna Rush. Okay, that's cool. London Spitfire, they back out, they speed away. Admiral gets them out towards the bridge. Gladiators want to chase land and turns, uses his own Katsuna Rush. Funny Astro feels the pressure, pops on the beat, but then doesn't have that for later on when now Sparker has this overclock available. He's pretty low HP though, but Landon, Landon got two.
I'm not sure. Kempster and Shu both taking down by Landon's hand. Reiner will finally put an end to the slaughter, but the work is very much already done here. We'll have those faster respawns and start pushing their way back out so they can get themselves to the cart from now and maybe pick up a little bit of extra distance, but it's not like they're going to be able to get over the bridge with these picks.
Gotta say, despite Landon getting two there, Reiner turning it around, Gladiators pushing out from spawn. Well, now given the capability to, as you sort of mentioned, finally get the payload up. Still have two ultimates online, need to see where Happy ends up going. This one, London Spitfire with bridge control so far, and they've landed on the payload. Happy's got to walk in.
Sparker sliding away. Happy does have the Death Blossom. It's going to be okay. 2 kills actually. Sparker ends up landing on top of it at the very end. The last few seconds gets the elimination. Happy finds another. Looks for Landon, but Reiner will take it with the Primal. 2 feet forward, they get onto the cart. They leave Hadi behind them in the dust inside of the castle. Now they start working this cart across the bridge.
And if they chase Hadi here, it might be hard for him. Okay, he's gone the low ground. He's gone towards the low ground, jumps out, but he's not on the payload. He's half HP.
Reiner falling low. Rush comes in from Shu. Landon matching Admiral a little bit further ahead towards that beat. Funny Astro needs to build up for one of his own. Now has it online. Admiral pulls the trigger first. Funny Astro goes second. Anybody's fighting from here on out. Let's see who's going to be able to connect the shots. First one there.
Primal.
Kempster not getting the connection. Happy in the meantime. He was playing well back over by the castle doors. Ends up getting picked. Shu as well cannot exit. With those 3 kills now as they look for more. Gladiators again are going to have to reset.
I mean, we just blow double support ultimates there both sides. We get back into a neutral stage. The Gladiators a little bit more split. A few more members further forward. A few members behind the payload. And London Spitfire will consolidate and convert onto the lone members. So plenty of time being burned here. What was a fast A-take is slowly becoming now a bit of a problem. That problem has been alleviated with shooting the kill on the Landon, but Spitfire can still reset here. So it does force Spitfire away. What that kill means is that Spitfire no longer have high ground control.
Dive into the back. You see the preemptive healing coming out from Shu. Knows that Kempster is going to be the target. He pops the overclock as well. Try to force Hadi back. Primal is out, but he is already tagged down. To join back in with the squad, get some healing. Gladiators looks like they found him. They get the collapse, and they go ahead and take him down. That might have been the case. Either way, they get the kill, they get their target. Now they just have to fight their way out of the castle, which they managed to do so successfully. Sparker's still up on the high ground, but at this distance, not going to be able to do too much. The cart does get contested here at the very last moment. Backbone again, racing forward, keeps this one locked into position while they wait for Hadi to rejoin the fray. Happy now trying to exit 90 HP, puts away.
Oh, so low.
Space here to work with. And just the TP out, but still not out of the woods yet.
Oh my God.
He's dodging every bullet they possibly can, and somehow Happy stays alive.
He's playing a bullet time game. He's just trying to dodge everything. I've seen this before. And the bullets come ever so fast, but he'll get healed up now. Gladiators waiting for ultimates. They got it. Kempster, nice shot. Admiral's gone. No more sound barrier.
Yep, sound barrier now out of the equation. The rushes are going to be used on either side. Funny Astro likely can hold on to the beat unless something goes wrong. Death Blossom instead going to be invested here by Happy. Finds Backbone, looks for a little bit more, sets up for the damage on the kill here to Hadi. They get the elimination, they get the cap. It's only going to be 2 minutes remaining now here for the Gladiators. You think about where they started, from 5 minutes, 12 seconds, something like that. They get drained all the way down to 30.
I mean, that even comes... You even see the difficulty on B when they find that trap on the Hadi, right? I'm pretty sure Reiner blocked it.
Yeah.
From what I could tell through the silhouettes, and even off the back of that, they couldn't cap off that fight. There was another fight that needed to happen, and they get it when Kempster snipes down Admiral, removes one of the ultimates. That's what got it for them. And Orlando gets sniped himself.
Shu has to be hitting these shots, which unfortunately for the Gladiators, he is not. Slips quite a bit, landed on the other side, did have Kempster. Now Reiner going to be taken down as they pop the overclock and go rushing forward. Easy cleanup, easy acquisition of the cart for the side of the Spitfire. With a minute and 14 seconds remaining. Gladiators that cannot dawdle.
Honestly,
Need to get right back into this push.
You're seeing some consistent picks coming through from Landon. And, you know, I kind of spoke about this coming into this particular matchup. Statistically for me, I felt like Landon had the best overall stats yesterday from day one games. Now he's also adding some damage and kills on top of that as Kevson looks for overclock.
Goes for it. The bubble keeping him protected for a little bit longer there, but everybody widely just pulling back. Gets the shot across on the backbone as he TPs forward, but doesn't get the headshot, so doesn't have the kill. Down barrier out from Admiral, keeps everybody shielded up as they once again go pushing towards the castle doors. Now go on the retreat. Gladiators start stepping to them once again. Landon out ahead by about 10% overshoot towards this next rush, and backbone is there nearly with the Death Blossom to couple in with it.
Really important, by the way, that Rhino takes some damage here. Look at that, Shoe's about to catch up. He's got it now, and the payload's in a good position. One fight can decide this. Rush on both sides.
Astro. Death Blossom's not going to be able to find the kill, but look how quickly he is firing. Oh, Cappy. This did not stand a chance, nor does Reiner, and that should just about do it. Everybody just ripped to pieces by the Reaper. It'll be an extended team kill as we won't even get to see it in overtime. It'll just bleed down. And that's as far as the cart is going to go. So very much a win condition here for the London Spitfire. Just need to push into the castle a little bit further than that, and then they will be walking away with a tied-up series at 1-1.
I mean, Backbone might have used his Death Blossom a little early in that fight, didn't find any value, but he's got the full auto Hellfire shotguns. Double the AA-12s walking forward. My goodness, the fire rate on that one. It was horrendous, the amount of damage coming on through on top of the LA Gladiators, stopping them from capping on in. And now you have to really examine the entire attack, where you consider that A was pretty phenomenal for the Gladiators, right? Push on through, win a fight where they kill Hardy twice. London could barely even really contest. I don't think anyone in Gladiators even died during that entire A push. B started to get very difficult for them. The amount of different attempts it took on B, no matter what picks they had, no matter what exchanges happened, London Spitfire held strong on B. There just wasn't enough time for the Gladiators to push through on C. I think, you know, a couple more fights, payload's in a good position, maybe Gladiators finish it off. It's not going to be the case yet. So I think this is the opening again where Landon gets the double. Okay, so he's literally just in the Spitfire, so the Gladiators spawn. It looks cool, but they did lose that fight, but at least he got the style points.
Yeah. Well, he used the TP to get into that position, and then from there he didn't really have a bailout, had to fight his way through, but it was still some flashy plays being done.
He exits the spawn room the hard way by dying.
4,
Yeah.
3, 2,
You know, dies in honorable combat. Being a good Viking.
Time to take action.
Expectedly, no one's going to show their heads there. We're not going to see that Hydron OG moment from the Florida Atlanta game on Junkertown yesterday. One of those rare moments where a Widow opening pick from spawn does indeed work. And already Hardy, though, he's wanting to get forward. Ryan is being annoying behind, though, look at that.
He is, but he needs to be careful that he doesn't get disconnected from the rest of the team. That's why you see him jump back over onto the point proper. Still, though, packed low. Sparker, he had a rail, might have been able to get that execution. Now, though, Gladiators widely split, contained into a side room, and this is just going to be to the meat grinder, perhaps. Kempster does manage to peel a bit here for the rest of the team, taking down Len, cutting the heels down. Now, Backbone dead as well. Suddenly, it gets turned completely on its head here by the Gladiators. Fantastically done. They give up a singular tick, but they win out the rest of the fight.
Good catch. I mean, Gladiators just sort of surround Spitfire there. They know Spitfire at that point are basically hard committed. They can't exit. And they get so many members low. LA Gladiators, I watched Funny Astro drop to 1 HP, Happy drop to 1 HP there, but Spitfire cannot even get one. If they even get one kill there and lose the fight, there's a potential timing window where Spitfire can come in with greater respawns, but not going to be the case. 4-5v5, Shu with a pretty damn good lead.
And there is the rush. Reiner leading the charge. Happy. I mean, the shotgun's just going crazy.
No kills, though.
Widely keep them zoned back, but yeah, it's not the result that they were looking for. They don't get kills. They don't get that extra 15 seconds bought off the time bank.
Which is not really great, because now it just becomes a full zoning ultimate. You do get some ult charge. So Funny Astro probably has to, yeah, he is going to do the sound barrier here. Has to.
Uses it, but Admiral, he's going to have one online here. Builds it up. Has to go for the second shield. Down barrier now going to be dropped in. TP up on the top land. He's just going absolutely crazy with the aggression. Kempster mistiming on the right click, unable to find the shot across on the Sparker. Backbone drops in, the Death Blossom finds two. Shu, the only one that finds an elimination so far on the side of the Gladiators, takes down Sparker, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere near enough. Reiner's still playing forward, but is taking a beating, tries to make his exit. And chasing forward, they're looking for the staggers, and they should be able to find something. Yeah, the Winston will fall in the end.
Yep.
It'll be 4 minutes and 9 seconds now in the time bank for the Spitfires. They start the Streets phase.
And unlike the London Spitfire earlier, you can't really just disengage away from Landon's Fortuna Rush, because you can only go back so far here. Backbone, by the way, playing within the Winston buffing, that's just so cool, because what you see from Kev's POV when we watch that, regularly, was the fact that Kevs was trying to snipe Backbone while he's going for the Death Blossom, but Hardy's bubble placement, the combination of Hardy and Backbone working together there meant that Backbone gets max value.
Down low, gets some heals, overclock at the ready, and Happy's dead, so you can just go ahead. Yep, just keep that ult tabled for now. No need to invest. Gladiators are going to have to heal back. Finally, the damage to try to get rid of Hadi is gone. Body shot on the Funny Astro takes him low. Kempster as well. See the slide out, makes his way over the rampart to try to stay safe and maybe get some line of sight. Funny Astro does continue to play elusively. It's really limit testing against Sparker's aim there, but does walk away unscathed. The dive comes in. That's
a good rush.
Out from Shu. Kempster though needs some healing. Shu finally identifies this, finds him. Tops him back up. Match now. Spark going to be locked in the position for now. Up here on the high ground. Kempster gets the pop, finds Spark in the body shot. Good enough. Looks for Admiral. Can't quite line it up, but sends him just shipped all the way into the castle walls. And it feels like we're back in the first half with Gladiators on the attack. Spitfire now put themselves in a rough position. They have to break out of here.
They have 5. They don't have ultimates, though. Hardy clearing close towards the Primal. The good news for the Spitfires, payload actually hasn't moved. Look at the payload. It's actually moving backwards. Gladiators have forgotten about the objective completely.
If they'd gotten any kills on that castle exit, it would have been monstrous here for the Gladiators. Spitfires, man, stay together.
So London will get themselves out of that. And payload position now will start to move back forward again. London actually breaking out of that position is really cool, because that was... Ricky,
that's a botch. And a great poop from Admiral. Sends him over the side. Backbone. He's got the TP, so he's going to be just fine, and no one's going to be able to contest this card anymore.
Maybe Funny Astro
does go sliding in. He's going to try for it, but it gets pushed away, and the cap will come in at the end. 3 minutes and 18 seconds now, and they don't even have to push to the end of the map.
Happy ult anyway.
Here by Happy. Finds Admiral. They will also clean up Backbone on the back end of that ult. And Hadi just can't really stay in this position. Ends up dying. You can see the laughter coming through from the London Spitfire calling the C9.
So that'll just be, I guess, London, or rather Gladiators being able to get a close hold here towards the ruins towards the front. And that's really what you're buying here, because otherwise Gladiators straight lose that fight. They have to completely reset. Payload gets to the first corner. Shoot pops ult.
Over the top. Reiner makes his presence known. The rush is out. Landon now has one of his own built up. Death Blossom from Backbone goes zoned back inside of the castle. Overclock now at the ready from Kempster.
Vlad's can exit here.
Right now, he is the sole ultimate available here for the side of the Gladiators. They get pushed back by Landon. Overclock now comes in. Kempster looking for a target. Spark still holding one of his own. Stage invested. Looking for the headshot, and Kempster has overstepped. Spark 2 wide swung around that corner. Landon strikes him down. Now Happy as well, going to get dropped. That's the damage dealers dead on the side of the Gladiators. The town barrier has to be invested by Funny Astro. Kempster's going to be swapping over to the Tracer now. They're trying to keep them in this fight, trying to turn the tide, because they still need to buy 2 minutes if they want to walk away victorious in this map. Otherwise, we're going to be tied up.
Oh, that shot.
2-2.
That could be it.
1-1, I should say. The headshot goes across. Shu goes down. Kempster keeps it contested for the moment. Reiner goes jumping in, but is greeted with death. Sparker finishes him with the rail. He cannot get the primal. And that will be the finish. London Spitfire elect to take us here to Eichenwalde. And once again, we are not going to have a 3-0. They tie it up 1-1.
You know, I think so much difference was made on that B point again, because you see the London Spitfire on their defensive side, how much slowdown they had the LA Gladiators, not allowing the LA Gladiators once they get to see to make any reasonable distance. And on the opposite end, London, you know, they survive in really tricky situations, kind of stuck in the Gladiator spawn. They can rotate out, straight back on the payload, pushing on in. The boot from Admiral from onto Reiner to push him off the map. That secures in the B point cap, and despite having the happy, Death Blossom slowing momentum down for London Spitfire. The next fight immediately, they retain that momentum, move on forward, and before you know it, London, they're on the cap, and Gladiators, they have the 3-man beat from Funny Astra just to stay alive. Reiner doesn't even get to get a primal, dies on 94. Close margins there, but Spitfire, once they get back on that payload and C, they go for all the way.
Close but no cigar. Close does not win you maps. Now tied up 1-1, London Spitfire fighting back. They keep it even. Gladiators will once again have a map pick as we get ready to go into Escort. We'll see where they decide to take us, but see if we can also clean things up just a bit. London having their number here. Another Monsters Time Bank off the rip, and they play it to a T. Very nicely done for them to go ahead and get the win. We'll see who takes the lead, who moves up to match point when we come back from the break, so don't go anywhere.
We had some great plays today, some great games today. We got more coming your way.
Piece by piece, 3% away from this Nano Blade now though, so Smurf wants to initiate early before the Blade's a factor, but Jinmu goes in.
Not gonna happen, and Creative cannot get the sleep start to connect. That slash through. Jinmu once more finding 3 with the blade. Big value for him. Follows up with a headshot.
No ace.
Shurikens onto Vinham. That is the team kill. That is a massive amount of distance now.
Try and find a way to keep London Spitfire at bay. Can looking to set up a big power drive here.
Oh, just right in the middle, and that might have been a counter shield bash from Admiral to get out of the way. Flora has overclocked. He's found 2. Make it a 3rd. Drops down. Landed. Flora stepping up to the job, and what New York need of him to do.
Since he's been away. Good headshot on Finale, though. I mean, it's safe, it's forcible. Finale's good for at least 1 in that case. If there isn't just an insta headshot to shut him down. Here's what I mean, Krillin going attack mode.
Wait, no. Okay,
Oh, 1 second.
No. Yeah. He was off the map at least 3 times in that small fight. Nano wants a happy, by the way, just to keep him up and alive. Or Muse with a punch.
This is dangerous.
That was close. Okay.
Power block.
There was no power up punch.
Oh,
no! You can't do this!
Oh, dear. Another one falls to Muse, and now the Defiant can surge forward once more. That buys some key seconds for the Raven. Have they used that time to formulate a real defensive plan here, or are they still going to fly by the seat of their pants? Hawk hit with the Discord Orb, blown up pretty much instantly there by Shockwave, who comes on in. That's going to be 2. Another one from the Disruptor shot to get rid of that Immortality field, and Shockwave has this on lock. Kai obliterated. OG running back to Spore with his tail between his legs here in the Vancouver Titans with 44 seconds left. They've got to get this one home.
And now we'll pop it, slides forward, tries to cut them off, throws the nade down right here into the doorway. Transfer Aim God is nullifying a hell of a lot of his damage though, because he just can't quite get the headshots to connect. 2 kills going to be found from the side of Fusion, but it's answered back by 2 from Marvel. Picks up Aim God, picks up Carpe, ends up falling. Marvel is just doing everything
How
right
many
now.
is this?
He gets fixed up. That's going to be 3 for him. The Immortality field obviously not quite going to count, but now here he is on the point, still relatively healthy. And so is Bellisria. He's got Zest to try to back him up. Marvel has to make his exit, but he's straight back into the fight. He keeps this point contested. He does not allow the flip to come through, and now he gets the kill into Bellisria. The minefield comes down. They'll just reroute. The flip is there. And welcome back. We are all tied up at 1-1. Eichenwalde going the way of the London Spitfire. Their selection for our hybrid map. Now we look forward to Escort to see who is going to be able to take the lead. But man, what a game so far this is. And Landon has, I mean, we're bringing him up already, Avril. He's been looking damn good on the Kiriko.
Yeah, I felt like, again, you know, to repeat myself, yesterday he looked fantastic. The stats rather back it up. We look at the stats from Eichenwalde here as well. 8 final blows. I mean, that's quite a lot.
95 rush assists. 95 rush assists.
Yeah, you farm a lot of assists off that. It's the healing done as well, 17,000, which is about 1,000 more than Shu. It's a ton of healing done, a lot more than the Lucio players. Funnily enough, you look at the 4,000 damage done, Admiral had 5,800, which is like an interesting dynamic between where Lucio and Kiriko is in the meta. You think about Kiriko as a high damage dealer, but actually, usually the Lucio players deal more damage. The Kiriko players heal a lot more though, because you need to do that to actually farm fast ultimates. And despite, I think, Shu typically having faster ultimates, Landon and the Spitfire, they got better value off a lot of their rushes. They also disengaged out of the Gladiators' rushes multiple times successfully. Landon were able to turn fights and beyond that as well. I know the sort of 2 kills that Landon got teleporting into the Glad spawn was a bit of a meme because they lost that fight, but there were other moments as well where he actually got some pretty critical shots down, some pretty critical kills that actually did change the course of how some fights went.
Well, I don't believe we have any swaps on either side, so still we'll be seeing the same 5-man squads on both teams, as it is Dorado that has been selected by the Gladiators. They think that this is going to be the staging ground for them to be able to turn this series around and once more gain the lead for themselves. But given the way that both these teams are playing, honestly, Avril, I wouldn't be shocked if we have a bit of a similar experience as our last series with the Shock, where it's just trading blow for the most part. So we'll have to just wait and see if that does happen. But you do have to be fearful if London are able to pick this map up, take themselves a match point.
The difference between this series and the last one is, I think in the last series, it wasn't that crazy for Houston to quote-unquote get an upset versus the Shock, given the differential in the seeding coming in. And, you know, there was a reminder there as well that, you know, Houston did end up beating Shock a couple times in the regular season, so I don't think it was crazy for Houston to get that win. Here, I think it would be a lot crazy for London to get the win off the Gladiators, but London have been powering up. They look fantastic yesterday versus the Fusion, look fantastic so far right now. Honestly, London are a team that you really have to give respect for, and, you know, there have been plentiful comments about the role stars so far for tanks. Obviously, 2 of them are in here right now, both Hardy and Reiner. And the fact that, well, here it is, proof of the pudding, right? Hardy versus Reiner, and Hardy has been performing so substantially low in the win star. I think you got to give credit to that role star nod.
I think the observers are trolling me, unfortunately, by showing that taco card you and I were talking about during the break. That getting hungry. Hunger is real. If only I had some
break, by the way. In that long pause.
If only I had some Butterfingers to snack on.
In that super long pause in the Houston game on Esperanza, in the chat, Dante said hilted. That's hungry and tilted. Something that wasn't shown in the broadcast, but I thought that was quite funny. All right, let's get into this game, though.
Well, can't say that I'm tilted, but I'm definitely hungry. But I'm also hungry for some more action. Backbone, you can see the smile on his face. He kind of botched the initial jump shot, so says, screw it, I'll just go straight for the Reaper instead.
I tell you what, though,
Here on the Tracers, occupying the high ground, and so far, damage transmit's looking great. He's got 45% of a pulse bomb.
And that's the thing, because we talk about, okay, well, you know, what does Gladiators want to do here? No swaps. They can make swaps within the team itself, because Happy's back on Sojin, which allows Kips to play through a Tracer. Can work pretty well on Dorado, I respect it. The damage has been pretty darn good, as you said. This is going to be a fast pulse.
That it is. 50 seconds so far, 87% built up. Pops the recall, has to pull back, but now Pulse going to be online. Backbone just trying to keep him at an arm's length. Arm's distance, I should say. And yeah, he does, but just dashes around the side. Pulse momentum ready. Everybody pushed up here into the bubble, drops it down, but won't be able to find a stick. Doesn't get a kill. Doesn't find much of anything, and once again we play Ring Around the Rosie as London Spitfire starts stealing the cart away, occupying the market space for themselves. Hottie just kind of holding that underpass, and now Kevs are gone.
Swap sides,
and finds the kill.
Under my protection.
Where are Glads right now? They're in the archway. They've completely swapped sides, so Spitfire get free push with Kevs gone as well. Gladiators have to get a touch going. Hardy's keeping it busy. We've nearly capped this one. In fact, we have. It's gone.
They have gotten it. Reiner just got booped away, and that was just enough time to go ahead and get that cap through. Kepster gets a little bit of revenge here on the Landon, but it's not enough. They completely got outdone, out-rotated here. London Spitfire just got in front of them. Gladiators tried to pinch them from behind, but they never get on top of them. They can never keep that card contested.
That was Glad's call, though. They rotated themselves. They were the ones that went very aggressive versus Spitfire. Meanwhile, the payload was moving away from them. Spitfire never really left the payload. And so what the end result was is that Kipster dies, he can't touch. Reiner's too late for the touch and it's gone. Spitfire hold most of the ults here as well. Glads have the high ground, that's at least a silver lining they can work through. Kipster hiding the flanks.
Change that. Happy now. Does have that overclock available. Sparker ready to match. Yes, we're still going to be 9% away from that sound barrier. Yeah, Backbone taking a beating. Get some healing as Kevster goes into the back line. Second pulse bomb nearly online. Recall going to be popped by him. Drop down off the high ground. They're going to go for it. Happy. And there's going to be the rush. Shoot using his pulse bomb goes down. Not going to find anything. Sound barrier out from Admirals. Putty Astro matching. Primal Rage popped by Reiner on the other side. Hottie's still going to be holding. Come up into the air. Reiner knocking Hottie away. He's now going to pop the Primal Rage. Sparker gets Kevster the rail shot. Enough to finish off the Tracer. Still does have this overclock. Didn't have to pop it. In the meantime, Hottie, he's juggling like 3 people over here. He's like
and he's alive. He lives.
Somehow tucks back away around the corner. Overclock at the ready for both of the Sojourns. Shots firing, no one finding any eliminations, but it's still going to be the London Spitfire who continue to push forward. Hottie,
there it is.
And not dip out this time. This time Kevster just managed to find the elimination, but the rest of London are just diving forward here. Past point B, looking for some eliminations, and Backbone's going to be able to find 2. Can he get a 3rd? The answer is yes. Reiner is cleaned up, and even though they lose out on the tank, they lose out on Sparker, London Spitfire will continue to push, and they get the cap on B.
And that's the only fight on B. There was only one fight on B, Achilleos. That one super extended fight. 9 ultimates got spent in the first portion of the fight. It's a good pick from Havoc, slows things down. And that was a Kevster death to Sparker initially. And then Backbone eventually throws in a Death Blossom. That's when things really kick off. But beyond that as well, Hardy did a lot of work to juggle members of the Gladiators. Reiner tried to lock one person down, didn't quite get that successfully done. You lose B because Spitfire had payload once again moving the entire way through. The objective control has been very good on the attack so far.
Oh, pulse bomb number 3. Good time to charm. Let's see, Kevster can get something done this time around. Backbone's going to get his head taken off, so one of the targets eliminated, dashing forward. He's just holding the door for now. Pulse to the ready. I thought maybe Kevster was going to go for it right there.
And he's testing the waters.
Continues to hold it, spots them, pulse goes down, but Admiral just casually wall rides away. Keeps himself safe, the heals coming through from Landon, but it's not enough to try to save Sparker's life. And now Landon himself at risk will get cleaved down. Reiner coming up big, 2 kills off the back of the Primal, Backbone's dead as well. Gladiators at long last finding a firm foothold, but Reiner will still get taken down the back end.
And off the back of Reiner dying, Backbone is about to respawn. Spitfire will walk forward, Gladiators need to respect this and back out. They played very aggressively. I think the pulse is one thing. The extra primal, I'm not too sure if I agree with it. Does Reiner get a bunch of kills? Absolutely. And it buys time. I think they got 30 seconds off that. When you get to the real team fights that matter, which is about to be the one we see here, you'll probably wish he had that. So that's a great pick of the Admiral. That slows things down for Spitfire. They might have to reset.
Yeah, I mean, Landon is so preoccupied just trying to keep the DPS alive that Admiral kind of gets left out to dry, ends up falling down. Everybody tucking away inside of the bank for now. They know that Admiral's going to be split spawn. Trying to keep their eyes out for him, but he just goes ahead and reroutes around the opposite side, goes up main, manages to rejoin in with the rest of the team. Now they enter through. Happy slides back, tries to keep himself safe. Body under fire, but Wolf is at the ready. Go ahead and pop that. Admiral drops the beat. Pulse bomb gets the stick, looks for the kill, but just chews through the shielding. Admiral's still going to be alive in the fight for now. Rushes out from both of the Kitikos. Shields now gone from both Lucio's.
Death Blossom
getting jumped on. There's the Death Blossom. Solo for Happy gets the elimination. Shu going to be taken down in the meantime by Hottie. Hottie Astro well into the back lines, low HP. Needs to try to stay alive. Kevster as well. Same can be said. Backline finally is able to hound him down. Lines up the shotgun blast. And Kevster takes a full-blown one to the face. Just under 2 minutes now as the card continues to roll forward.
And they got 5 alive. That's the best part for the London Spitfire. With 5 alive here, they have full presence walking forward. Sparker held on to his overclock. Pops him now. Happy responds. Wait, Happy just gets a kill. He didn't even have an ultimate.
Yep, not the ult, just full charge rail shot to the head. Backbone taken out. And Happy gets Sparker as well. Shuts down the ult. Hottie dead. Once again, the Gladiators go ahead and put their feet down. Establish a nice little foothold here for themselves. Minute and 20 remaining. London Spitfire still seeking to finish the map. Backbone for a brief moment. Just checking to see if anybody over pursued.
And I don't think Gladiators will pursue this time. They just don't have the ults to play through. Right, last time they had a lot more. They had the Pulse, they had the Primal. London Spitfire. Back to basics here. Overclock denied. Happy does major work on that last defense. Now himself will look towards the overclock as London Spitfire looks like they want the high ground. They'll get it. They have to get back on the payload to swap.
They did trade that one out. Funny after take it down, but obviously you have the much faster respawns as well as it being a Lucio, so not really going to lose too much time joining back in with the rest of the team. Admiral now a bit of a precarious spot. Makes his exit back up the stairwell, but the car's still widely going to be halted. Is in fact still rolling back. 35 seconds now remaining with the London Spitfire. Rushes out on either side. Still holding on to the overclock. Happy, waiting for the moment to pop it. Likely we'll just have to wait until these
Funny Astro.
Hottie starts moving forward. The primal pop. Shoe going to be taken down.
Doesn't catch up. You'll get
shot. Now Kevs are going to be taken down. Backbone gets on top of him, and Happy's got a sliver of HP, as does Funny Astro. They have to try to stay alive, but Happy eventually gets hounded down. Hottie gets on top of him, finds the kill. Sends out a zap, looks for a little bit more, but cannot get any further picks from here. The cart continues to move forward. Time dwindling down. 3 seconds remaining. Ult available.
Go Blossom.
The Death Blossom is online. Needs to find an opportunity to use it. It's going to have to be right here, right now. They push him away. Landon stays alive. He still will find Hottie. Can't get much more than that. Backbone strikes just a little bit harder. Comes up with 3, and that is the finish. London Spitfire, they have a very clean start. Gladiators kind of out-rotate themselves. They still manage to drain the clock all the way down, but they cannot deny the finish on Dorado.
And that what a finish it was as well for the London Spitfire. Again, they consolidated as 5. They didn't lose anybody in the second to last fight. They start walking forward, and the big difference maker for me was the fact that Admiral Landon both had support ultimates. Shu responded, but Funny Astro was still like 10% off by the time Funny Astro finds the sound barrier. His team is under major DRS. He pops in the sound barrier, but Happy and Kevster do not receive the shielding. Possibly the LOS was blocked. Maybe Hardy's, his primal was batting away Kevster and Happy a little bit too much. So Funny Astro only ends up getting a 3-man beat for all of that. Happy and Kevster 4 because they're low HP. And the London Spitfire continue rolling on through. The final ultimate there to maybe save the day was Kevster on the Death Blossom. It doesn't do enough. Landon has a Suzu. Backbone has his own Death Blossom, and they use that to put the nail in the coffin for the attack.
Take a look at the replay here. Landon playing out the final moments of this push.
Watch the Suzu.
And there it is.
So clutch.
45 HP on him as the Suzu comes in. Sets up for Backbone. Just go ahead and pull the trigger. And there's no getting away from that one for Happy. Again, given the way that things started for London, this isn't the worst case scenario for the Glads, but they need to have a strong attack. They're gonna go for the side.
I think finishing at all is quite a decent amount already. And for the LA Gladiators, they just some TP stuff, run it so he goes back. Notice that London Spitfire have counter-rotated, so now we've swapped positions. London are playing from the Glads. Spawns low members there. Hardy has to be careful.
He does. Glads wrapping around the side. Kevin taking some nasty hits.
Cheerio.
Lucio. Cheerios.
Should be a fast pulse bomb. That will be the thing again. Backbone was on 1. Wow.
Get the race walk, so he stays safe. They top him up. Landon rather pursuing forward. Just keeping Kevster honest. He grabs the mega pack, but the rest of the team still just getting ripped apart in the meantime.
This is, by the way,
on their side to the rest. Hottie needs to get out of there.
This is kind of like the worst case scenario for Deaths as well, because they're just losing one person by one. They're not getting any counter trades. It's maximum time staggering as well. Kevster desperately needs a pulse bomb. Backbone again on 1, but he just won't die.
Oh, what a stick!
Whoa, hang on a second.
And what a slide! Sparker delivers that one. Express mail to Admiral. It's Kevster, cleans up 3. That's the team kill coming through. Granted, might be just enough time to be able to get a last-second contest coming through here from the London Spitfire. Work to treat for Houston Outlaws over on
that looked like it
in our last series.
That looked like it should not have stuck. It looked like it should not have stuck because Sparker was already on his way out, and Kevster just manages to just basically a pixel off something. Just a single pixel lands on the pulse bomb, and Sparker carries that one through to Admiral. By the way, Sparker was already mid-slide as Landon finds a hit from the Funny Astro, so might be 4.
Down low,
basically what I'm saying is
he's already used the recall.
Basically what I'm saying is Sparker killing Admiral there. I mean, he was already sliding right, so there's not much you can do about it.
Yeah.
Bound to happen.
He's already committed. Stopping that one once it's begun. Overclock now going to be coming through, and Backbone disappears. Reiner gets on top of him, finds that kill. They're looking for a little bit more. Sound barrier is still going to be committed. The rushes out on either side as well. London Spitfire are desperately trying to fight back, but Sparker under duress will end up crumbling. Reiner finds that kill, and Hadi, knowing better, just holds onto the primal range. They're more than happy to just go ahead and get the reset in now. They take the clock down to 1.5 minutes. It's going to be a 4-minute time bank now with the cap on A. We'll take a look at this pulse bomb stick once again.
Oh my god, it's like the craziest stick.
And then he jumps out of the bubble. Unfortunate.
I think like in that moment, it happened so quickly, like if I jump, I might be able to jump out of the way of my teammates, but he probably didn't realize that Admiral was wall riding, so it's pretty unlucky.
Yeah.
Well, got a good slowdown though. You know, all that being said, London still slowed down the payload a reasonable amount. The extra Landon killed the Funny Astro, forcing an extra reset. LA Gladiator showing good patience there to wait for Funny Astro. They held their ground even 4v5. So now they need to snowball. This is where Glads want to speed up.
Pulls back, playing inside of the bank right now. He's pushing forward into his face to try to get the punish. Reiner goes low, pops the primal with barely any time to spare. Admiral getting tagged down, but looks like Landon will have some healing for him, so he stays safe. Hadi is going well into the back lines. Funny Astro going to be greeted by a headshot there from Sparker. Nice rail, happy, taken down as well. Hadi finds the punish, and once again, the London Spitfire just managed to wrest control of this cart away from the Gladiators.
Now, I think, like, you see from Kep's POV as well, it's been a pretty tough battle so far. Like, he gets members low, he can get backbone low, but he can't quite finish off these kills. The final bits of HP on the London Spitfire don't seem to go away, and for the Hadi as well, he gets a pretty good matchup, right, because he doesn't have to face a Reaper, whereas Reiner does when he has to go up against backbone.
Yeah.
The Gladiators are finding themselves in a bit of a situation where Gibson needs these pulses. He's had a few so far. That's a good shot, though. That's what they need more of as well.
That it is. I mean, backline, I don't even know where his corpse just went with, sailing up into the skybox. There's not much else to be done here for the rest of the London Spitfire other than die. By a little bit more time, just locking the car in place. Once again, they will be able to contest this. 4 ults about to be online for them, matching the 4 of the Gladiators.
It's been a lot of Sparker, I think, opening frags, opening damage, rail shots. We've seen a few from Happy, but it's felt like a lot from Sparker so far in the defense. So Happy finally getting one over. The 5-4 over, it's super important. The Gladiators, by the way, win that one without using ultimate. So here we go. Now both teams are throwing those in. 8 ultimates holding.
Okay, Kepster finds Spark in the sound barrier from Funny Astro, keeps everybody alive through the Death Blossom, a backbone. Push away off the cart. Admiral going to be taken down. Happy finds the shot. The overclock going to be popped, and Hadi's just got really nothing else to do here. Backbone going to be finished off. Happy looks for another target. Won't be able to find one. Gladiators clean it up. Now they have 3 minutes to push through the final stretch of Dorado and finish the map, which is what they need to do. And even then, that's just the extra innings.
We'll see if they can get a time bank here as well. Some time available, sort of deep in first. And have that extra time to play through for A, because, you know, assuming they do cap, this is going to end on A. So they know London have dropped down on their outside. London are making a big rotation.
Oh, that they are. They're trying to, once again, grab the cart, keep it locked in place, and put the Gladiators over towards the defender's side of the map. Reiner, however, has different ideas as the gate is going to shut on them. The cart is going to start getting stolen away. Overclock now going to be popped. The first shot going wide. Shoot down. Low to almost no HP, but cannot find the finish. He's going to get topped back up the full. Kepster outlanded with a nice headshot. Manages to finish off the Tracer, getting rid of that pesky little fly. Sparker looking for a little bit more. The cart now going to be rolling back. The Gladiators again put themselves in the no man's land.
Glads have to reset.
Going to be taken out. Funny Astro going to be dead. They have to go for the reset. And that's going to take them down to about 1.5 minutes.
I mean, London Spitfire, the best part about their play, because they make that long rotation, they go straight for the payload and they deny any distance. You sort of notice the other way around, when London were attacking, they had a lot more payload control, and Gladiators were really slow to stop the payload progress. And also, we talk about the difficulties Kevs has had on the Tracer outside of some of the pulse bombs. I mean, sometimes you can just get headshot by Karika as well. 120 damage. If that doesn't kill you, instantly forces you to recall. So that also makes the matchup a little bit worse, and he's now changed over towards the Reaper.
Heard that dink there for just a little moment. Got the catch that I have. Now it's going to be the rushes coming out on either side. Sound barrier first from Funny Astro, but Backbone going to be taken down. Happy gets the headshot, still holds onto the overclock. Admiral now is going to be holding this sound barrier for a future fight if they need to go for a reset. Admiral buying just a couple extra seconds here on the clock.
5 alive?
Down to 1 minute, but now they're going to be pushing forward again. Yeah, 5 alive as you say.
Yep, that's huge. That's what they need. This is the same situation that London had early on, right? They won a fight near the start of C. They have 5 alive, and they will get their 5v4. Happy is starting to really find some shots now at the correct time as well. Gladiators on the precipice of finishing the map, and they might just be able to do it by the time Spark comes back. The Taylor is there.
Happy doing happy things, but now Barrier aggressively. We look to take the fight towards the Gladiators, but no kills are found on the back of that. Now the shielding's going to be gone. Overclock going to be popped. Happy looking for a target. Backbone drops it. Death Blossom finds one. Kempster eliminated. Oh, Barker is waiting. Happy comes around the corner. What a shot that was. Would love to see his POV on that. Looks damn impressive from what we could have seen, but now the rest of the Gladiators very much split away from each other as Backbone looks to just hold control of this door. The bubble comes in as well.
That's final fight. This could be the map.
And yeah, that could just be it. London Spitfire look to take the map pick away.
Now.
As the overclock is popped and no one is going to be able to touch. Kempster arrives just a fraction of a second far too late. The Death Blossom will find nothing. And London does what they love to do. They dump a bunch of C9s in the chat. Give it the
they're just saying
this feels like projection to me. But
yeah, I was gonna say they're just announcing their org, right? I mean, the Cloud9. I get it. That's what it means.
I mean, but Hadi, he steps up out of his seat. He's banging his chest. He's saying, "I am the Winston God." And right now, he is looking like he has the upper hand in this series. London 2-1 now. Match point in their hands. They could be looking to send the Gladiators down to the lower bracket. They could just close out one more map.
Hardy's like, apparently they call me a Ryan one trick. Apparently, supposedly they say a Ryan one trick. Apparently not. As we see from the results right here, Hardy did great work on that map, but generally speaking, I just think some great shots from Landon. Not the best matchup for LA Gladiators, given that they were really trying to make that Tracer work. Had an interview from Sparkle earlier on his thoughts on Tracer. He wasn't, he even played some Tracer, but he says, not great in this meta. We really do see that it was a struggle for LA Gladiators.
That was a tier 4 pick.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know how many tears he has, but that seems pretty low to me. London Spitfire, better objective control to me. They count the map, they finish. Glads run out of time. Final fight comes out. Backbone, Sparker land the shots. Backbone doesn't die, and it's all over.
Well, London Spitfire now have this series in their hands. If they can close out on push, they will be staying in the upper bracket and sending the Gladiators down into the dungeon. We'll see if they can get it done, what the Glad's final map pick is going to be when we come back, so do not go anywhere.
London Spitfire. They're packing some heat with this roster right here.
They don't know! Oh, Hardy! What a way to turn this around!
Jax's double pulse faith and MCD, the counter dives have traded out heals. It's over and we tie up the series.
My God!
Hardy just stuck in the corner, drops down the shatter. And there you go. Chatty is back. He is here to pound. London Spitfire continuing to advance.
Blizzard available for Backbone. Nero throws out the Blizzard, but a counter Blizzard from Backbone. Can they kill Gator? He's trapped. No lamp to be had, and Gator dies.
And now look at Backbone chasing down Ultraviolet.
2 shatters coming online rather soon.
It's this man on your screen that comes up with the goods. London!
And welcome back. We are now at match point. 2-1 the scoreline as London Spitfire have the lead. Gladiators have one more map pick to try to take us into 5. Push is going to be their decider, is to see whether or not they can make that happen. So we'll have to just wait and see where they decide to take us. Is it going to be New Queen Street, Colosseo, or Esperanza? We'll have to just wait and find out here in just a bit. But for right now, London are looking good.
Absolutely,
What
and
more
on the
can they
converse
say?
as well, it's like, well, you could probably say that LA Gladiators, they seem to be struggling right now, which is, I guess, an obvious statement, but some of their struggles comes from the fact that I don't know if they figured out, like, what it actually is their lineup, like, who is the Sojourn player, who's the Reaper player, is Tracer really worth picking? Because, you know, we've gone back and forth debating whether, you know, actually it's not been a back and forth, it's just mainly us just agreeing with Sparkle, isn't it? Like, most teams would probably agree with Sparkle. Tracer, not the best pick right now, you really are forcing it to work. We saw that from Kip's POV. He struggled to really find picks outside the pulse bombs. He just couldn't really dive in. And how many low players on London Spitfire that just unfortunately are not coming down. LA Gladiators today, they've played some interesting stuff. They've, to me, been, it's an interesting identity to have for this team, that they're the ones willing to try out different tanks like the Doom that we saw earlier. We had a little bit of Rhine, Junkrat. It's been pretty hit or miss. They've been playing Tracer. They've been swapping their 2 DPS player roles as well. I don't know. I feel like London's game plan, just sticking to the meta, executing on that meta, them understanding of that meta and understanding how to play it, just seems stronger than LA Gladiators.
Yeah, they seem just very disjointed right now. Uncertain. I mean, we see the swap arounds and the rolls coming through. What with Happy playing the Reaper, Kevster going over to the Sojourn there on Eichenwalde, and now it swaps back on Dorado. And it's, you know, 2
Flip a coin for this one.
Back to back.
Who's it going to be for this one?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's going to be Ryder. It's actually going to be Happy who's playing tank, and then Ryder's going to play the Reaper. You know, I don't know. Right now,
Funny Astro's playing tank. Scooter's playing Sojourn.
Well, right now,
Space is going to play the Kariko.
And that's another thing, is that oftentimes, I mean, we see Funny Astro coming in here, playing a Lucio, the hero that he made his name on, and oftentimes he's lagging behind. Admiral is building up these sound barriers. He's having better timings in these fights.
Let's talk about the other support position as well. Is like I'm shocked that Landon is currently, in my opinion, outperforming Shu, and yet at the same time, based on what I saw out of Landon yesterday, it also doesn't surprise me. I just maybe expected that Shu would be a monstrous Kariko player. It hasn't been bad. I don't think Shu's been throwing. I don't think he's necessarily a bad player on this role, but Landon has been unbelievably impressive. The shots he's hitting,
stellar.
The timings for ultimates, he's been able to get ultimates generally on par, if not better than what Shu has had. And even you know, let's take a look at Eichenwalde. Let's say that he doesn't get ultimates as fast as Shu on that map. The value that London get out of the Kariko ultimate, the Kasuna Rush, has been better. That's maybe more of a team thing than specific for Landon, but speaking of just what London are doing as a team, it's been greater than the LA Gladiators. So first of all, we have the answer to the question, Happy on Reaper, Kipster on the Sojourn. They're going to be playing the Winston Mirror here, so no other heroes coming on through, no Tracer. I think that's probably for the best.
But it's going to be Kevster back onto the Sojourn, Happy onto the Reaper once more. So that coin flip goes Happy's way. Takes up the mantle once again. See if this time around it's going to be able to deliver them a map win.
Unless Kipster's playing like a Junkrat or Tracer, it does seem like Glads prefer Kipster on the Sojourn. That's what I've noticed.
Well, for now, Gladiators will go ahead and take the bot to themselves, start gaining some distance. Honey chases forward, 30% of the way towards that Primal, and okay, well, Sparker will just go ahead and take down Kevster. So even though he was lagging behind just a little bit towards that overclock charge, Now he's got a very big window of opportunity to go ahead and take the lead. Reiner
Clean
dead,
up.
Funny Astro dead. And yep, that will just be the rest of the squad swept under the rug.
You look at how early Kevster dies, right? You're like, well, maybe Glads can just sort of regroup here, find Kevster again. No, worst case scenario is the rest of the team just gets staggered. And as Kevster respawns, everyone else dies. It's a full 5-man wipe, by the way. All 5 from London survive. And the ultimate charge differential, I mean, we talked about already, but because London wins so heavily, their Landon's on 77, Shoes lagging massively behind. Spark has got ahead of Kevster here as well. Spark is low HP, but he's okay.
Already going to be 38 meters built up here for the Spitfire, bot locked in place. Reiner just jumped down to half HP, has to jump back. Jumping shot comes in, trying to cut off some access there.
Good disengage, really good disengage.
Feels like sunlight, huh?
Yeah. Pull back away. Landon just looking to keep everybody alive, sends a shot over towards Shu, and Reiner crumbles under the pressure. Sparker sliding forward, is able to get the finishing shot. And now that overclock is just about to be online should he need it.
Glads are waiting for Reiner. And they can't ult until Reiner's here, so that's the other problem. Reiner just dies before Shu has the Kitsune rush. That's just really awkward timing. I think Glads could have been a little bit slow there, but now Kevster, okay, he's got that kill.
Gets one. Adi not really much of anywhere to go. Does go diving forward here in the end. They're trying to get rid of Kevster, and they can just send him off the side of the map. I suppose that works. And Landon will actually steal the kill with a nice little cheeky headshot mid-air. Adi turns his sights back over to Funny Astro, finds that elimination as well to boot. And the bot doesn't go very far. It's right back into control of the Spitfire as Hadi gets a cheeky little quick zap onto Shu to finish the job.
That was a drive-by there from Hardy. Speaking of driving, we're going to get this payload into the checkpoint now, maybe. Gladiators still hold more ultimates. Plenty to work through. Are they not going to get... Okay, finally, there's a sound. That was a bit slow, but...
Sound barrier out. Reiner will find Sparkles. So shuts down the rest of that Sojourn ult, and Hadi will fall. The bot doesn't quite make it to the checkpoint here, so we haven't made it through that, so that pause will still be there if the London Spitfire are able to re-aggress into this position, but for now, the Gladiators can breathe a much-needed sigh of relief as they have some semblance of control.
But I mean, even that moment there, if you really examine the micro play, it's like waiting to sound barrier is just taking a risk. Sparker could get a kill in that time. There was ample time for Sparker to find somebody, and if you end up at a 4v5, it's kind of still winnable for Spitfire. They maybe pop more ultimates, it's a different story. So yeah, a couple of screws there, I think, still yet to be tight for the Gladiators. Happy to at least take a fight away, prevent the cap from coming on in. Happy though,
Happy is dead. I don't know exactly how this happened, but Backbone and seemingly Admiral just get on top of him. They find the kill before he can Wraithwalker. Maybe the Wraith was on CD. The way Landon jumping back, joins in with Sparker to keep him protected as soon as he does come out. But still inching forward here for the Gladiators. They haven't fully lost control.
That's a shot.
Kevster's headshot there on the Backbone. That is a damn good way to make sure that you maintain control. But with the rush coming out, Shu going down, London Spitfire looking to just go ahead, shift the spot straight back across into Gladiators territory.
Glads might have to burn more ultimates here if they can engage a fight, but it looks like they've exited already. Yeah, they've completely given this payload control up. I mean, with their Kitsune Rush and their extra Reaper advantage, having the Reaper alive with Kitsune Rush makes a world of difference there. That's why Backbone, rather dying at the time he did, it's pretty critical. Kipster pops it overclock.
Goes for it again. Reiner goes diving into the back line. Doesn't have a bailout. The Primal, so can't go too terribly deep. Offers up enough space to get the bot moving once again. Kevster does come up big, finds a nice headshot. Landon now going to be taken out. Happy does get traded. Sparker finding one for his squad. Backbone waiting. Sound barrier has been used. Still hasn't found an opportunity to really use this death block.
Payload's gone, by the way.
Pushes around the corner. Now he drops it in. And they fall right into his trap. 3 quick kills for Backbone. Now a fourth as Reiner falls. And yeah.
He's barking! He's barking the camera!
It's looking like a checkpoint.
I saw the whoop and I saw the bark in the camera there. So Backbone knows he just got the 4K to get the cap. And they already moved the payload. That's the other thing I'm saying, Achilles. They were already stealing the payload away from the Gladiators before the fight even started, so they can instantly cap now. And Happy gets shut down. Death Blossom gone.
He's just completely eviscerated by Backbone. Tries to make the play, needed to have a huge blossom, but he gets absolutely nothing from it. Hadi takes down Shu, and the Gladiators look like they have, both feet out the door. Right now, they're getting dragged along.
I can't believe it.
Holding on by their fingertips onto the door frame.
This is about to be 100 meters. They're about to get 100 meters here. Gladiators have to stop this now. They have to get moved. They got 3 ultimates. What are they waiting for?
Nearly 4. Well, there's the rush first. Landon not quite having his. Could be a difference maker, and okay, Backbone will go down, as does Admiral. So they finally find some kills. That's going to be a reprieve, and wow, all in one moment, everybody dies. Not sure exactly what happened to Ryder. I guess he went off the side of the map somehow. Either way, the bot is going to be taken here by the Gladiators. They can try to get this away, the hell away from their spawn, but you can see Bunny Astro, he's got to go for the
matters.
taxi. They can't move
That's
this bot
the thing,
forward.
right? The fact that Reiner somehow falls off the map, actually, that makes it so they cannot move this bot forward. Funny Astro goes to the taxi, as you've been talking about. It's significant, the difference between Reiner not falling off the map there and actually falling off. No idea how he dies.
They still haven't.
Shouldn't have done.
Now they have. I was going to say, they didn't even take the forward spawns away. London Spitfire still has those right up until this moment. Great shot. Backbone nearly eliminated. Just didn't quite build it up to 100.
Sparker, wow.
Finds one. I mean, he doesn't even have the overclock rolling. He just builds one up to 100. Takes down Shield. Funny Astro now commits the sound barrier into the fight. Admiral matches Astro dead. And it just continues to spiral completely and utterly out of control.
They look broken. Glads look broken. They can't get any kills here. Kevster popping through the overclock. Nothing. Spitfire survived. Double support ultimates there. And the payload continues moving. This is definitely going to be 100 meters now at 97. They'll get that. And Glads have no ultimates. Last time we were here, Achilles, Glads had 4 ultimates. Now they got nothing.
Yeah. They are just completely and utterly falling apart at the seams. Push forward. Backbone takes the raid. Tries to stay safe. Pops that Death Blossom because he knows that the dive
Reiner low though.
puts a hell of a lot of damage onto Reiner, and he just can't jump out. He jumps up instead of jumping back across the opposite side of the bridge. Either way, not sure if he would have made it out with his life intact, but Hadi is just continuing to cause trouble.
We're going further. We're going further.
Back there. Funny Astro just trying to keep them pushed away, but he just cannot do enough.
120.
And they continue to push. Yeah.
And that's the thing, because you look at the late jets, Kevster happy dying at that time. Reiner just respawned. They're staggered respawns. This is so bad for the Gladiators. 120 plus, I mean, this is insurmountable. There's 100 meters in terms of a gap between the two teams.
Yep, 100 meters in a minute when the London Spitfire are knocking on the doors of
London
full
cap?
complete. I mean, it looks like it's going to happen. It seems inevitable. Kevster trying to escape, will manage to trade one, but
What
no
on
one
earth?
can touch, and the London Spitfire will not be denied. They give up one map, and then they go to push, and they take it all the way home. Gladiators did not hold a candle to them at any singular moment in this map. And clearly, for a team that has won multiple tournaments in the year, there is something that needs to be worked on in the playoffs if they want to make it out of the lower bracket, because London Spitfire looked like they were playing with their food.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't really make sense for the Gladiators to be this bad in this meta versus London Spitfire, considering, yeah, okay, they did win twice. Did they lose Summer Showdown? That was bad for them. Understandably, it was bad. But this meta should work for them. But they were, by the way, Gladiators were 6-0. Perfect in the Countdown Cup qualifiers. They were one of our top seeds coming into this playoffs. So when I say it wasn't that shocking for Houston to beat the San Francisco Shock, it is incredibly shocking that London do beat the LA Gladiators, because when you look at a Winston meta on paper, that's perfect for Reiner. You have Shu, you have Funny Astro, Lucio Carrico should be perfect for them. Happy, fantastic for the Sojourn if he's allowed to play it. The only question mark was, how does Kevster look on the Reaper? And yet, it's London Spitfire, where the way we finished this one, not with a bang, but with a win from the LA Gladiators. And London Spitfire, this is the real deal. That man on the screen right there, Christopher, he has built an incredible team this year. Something to be proud of. I don't think any London fan would have expected their team to make it this far. Maybe you really believe that they would have some really good results. This now has been one of the best results, maybe it is the best result for London, ever since their massive team shakeup after Season 2. Since Season 3, it's been rough skies for this London Spitfire squad, but right now, this is the best they've looked in a damn long time, and they have the capability to go even further.
It's just unbelievable. I mean, at the end of it all, the Gladiators looked like they were completely lost, and London Spitfire had the upper hand at every twist and turn. The all-in was called. They had aces high, and the Gladiators turn over a 2-7 offsuit, and they completely bomb out of it. And they find themselves now in the lower bracket. I believe they have to play against the Philadelphia Fusion tomorrow, so that is not a very fast turnaround for them to get prepped. But boy, what a performance from the team, and Landon in particular, we continue to sing him praises, and he is going to be our player of the match. You talk about somebody who slots into the Kiriko role, it's this guy right here. He continues to excel.
I don't think anyone would have had Landon on their sheet of like, well, who's going to be a top Rico player, but you better have him there right now. He better be towards the top end of that list because honestly, the way he's been playing successfully over these past couple of days, the stats show as well. I think they back it up for me. The level of kills he can get, I mean, he made Kipster's life live in hell when he's playing Tracer. Just the highlights we're seeing here as well. I mean, some funny little kill steal on Kipster. This entire map as well in Colosseo, so unbelievably one-sided. How on earth they got a full count, they got an entire completion. And you look at the stats overall coming on through. I love the expression on his face, by the way. He knows he's done wrong.
He looks like he's
pat on the back.
He looks like he's just happy to be here, but in fact he just hard pounded that whole series.
He looks like he's happy to be here, but actually he's one of the best Kariko players.
Yeah,
but he looks like he's happy to be here. That's so crazy to me, but he really is. Just
absolutely stellar performance from Landon, from everybody. Hottie, fantastic again with the Winston. Backbone. Some incredible fight-turning performances from him on that Reaper. I mean, just that last little gank where he comes out, manages to clean up 4 in that team fight because he hugs around the corner. The Gladiators just do not see it coming whatsoever.
Yeah,
they
that was so
completely get
huge.
blindsided. Great decision-making from Backbone and from the whole team overall. They played like a unit, and Gladiators, frankly, they just played like a team fractured into something that needs to be fixed in a very short period of time, less than 24 hours, basically, as a turnaround to be ready for their next match, and that's in the lower bracket. So if you lose from here on out, it's over.
Speaking of which, I mean, give me your live reaction here. How do you feel when I tell you these 3 teams in the lower bracket? Shanghai Dragons, San Francisco Shock, LA Gladiators. I mean, excuse me? What is going on there? What is going on there? But those are 3 teams in the lower bracket. Atlanta's there too. I mean, to be fair, it's maybe not that surprising. They typically do go in the lower brackets early, but they go for a bit of a demon run down there.
They're at home.
I mean, our upper bracket semifinals is Dallas, Seoul, Houston, London. What a mix of teams.
It's crazy, and it's just wild to see. It's great to see this much, honestly, diversity in the teams that we have in the upper bracket right now, because it's not an upper bracket that we've really ever seen before in the past. So it's a completely wild ride that the 2022 playoffs are delivering for us so far, and I, for one, am fully strapped in. I am more than prepared to ride this all the way to the very end. But this is the end for today for myself and Avril. Of course, the desk is still going to be breaking down the action. They have plenty to go through, so make sure you guys stay tuned and hear from those Giga Brains over there on the desk in just a few minutes.
Nice. Get the so short. Kill one.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Butterfinger. Crispity, crunchity, peanut buttery. No one lays a finger on your Butterfinger.
Welcome to the Watchpoint Post Show. Zoe here, joined by Necra and Reinforce. And we also have the utmost honor of having Landon from the London Spitfire joining us now for the winner's interview. First and foremost, congratulations. Huge dub for you and your team. You must be absolutely elated right now.
I am. Thank you so much. It was a really fun game.
Well, it was so much fun for us to watch. Now, I do want you to break it down a little bit for us. What do you think gave you the edge in your win over the LA Gladiators?
This whole year, we've been honing our style, and we've learned a lot of comps and a lot of styles. But the one thing that we're leagues better than the other teams is these kind of rush or hive mind style comps, where all of us are 5 people tunneled on one thing, walking in one direction.
So you think that's sort of like what gave you the edge when like this meta came around? We're seeing some of these top teams, you know, not even the LA Gladiators, you know, they're a respectable franchise winning 2 stage titles, but also like San Francisco Shock, for example, Shanghai Dragons got 3-0'd. Do you think that teams that can adapt to this kind of meta quickly, like that really suits their style here in the playoffs, like you guys?
Yeah, in this meta, more than most others, the most important thing, or one of the most important things, is communication and teamwork. So even if you have players with slightly better aim, if you play versus a team that has better communication and better teamwork, you're going to lose.
Oh, I love that. Can I ask a follow-up then? Like, what do you think makes great communication for London Spitfire, for example? Like, what is something maybe when you came into the team that Coach Christopher or something, like what did they teach you about communication that really stood out to you maybe?
Since I joined this team, we had really realistic expectations set for us, that if we wanted to be a really good team, we had to focus on things that other teams didn't. And Christopher, an amazing coach, really put that focus on communication, that no matter what else, we should always be communicating better than the enemy team.
I love that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's especially important when, Landon, you've been doing such a phenomenal job on Kiriko. I think you are just on the top of our leaderboards right now for stats. Can you tell us what separates a good Kiriko from